I'm Donna Gershman, and this is
Being a Mother.
and we are living it up. And we really are living it up. And right? And up means for us, living a high vibrational life as consistently as possible. So that we are choosing to live in a high vibration every day. And we're not allowing, ourselves to slip down into like old default settings, old ways of being, where we just allow ourselves to be in lower vibrational states, without any kind of intervention. So living a high vibrational life means that you have tools, right? And you know how to get to a high place, how to get to a place that feels like you're in the light and in the joy and in the peace and in the good of life, and be able to maintain it. And I think that is a key factor of what is what this show's about and what we want to help other people with.
And build. It's a skill.
It really is. It's a practice. It's a daily practice on how to get to the mountain and stay on the mountain.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, and Maddie is with us today, our special guest of every podcast.
And Gilly too.
And Gilly's here. He's laying here. You can't see him, but he's here. He's present and available when needed.
I have something to say already.
Good.
So, talking about that, keeping ourselves in that place, because I feel at times I have claimed in the past that I'm more tired than other people. I'm like, I'm more tired than you. Mm-hmm. But I did start changing that last year through, different modalities. And I'm always studying, and I do frequency work with this woman that rocks my world. But for instance, I just had a birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Celebration. And I had a wonderful time. It was lovely. My best friend that I grew up with came in town for the week. And she hasn't been at my house for that long. She's got tons of kids. She lives in another state. So she was here for the entire week. The event happens, very small. Event is a big word for what that was.
No, it was amazing.
It was special.
It was really special.
And people seemed to have a good time, told me it was just lovely. So the next day, I dropped her off at the airport and I cried. It hit me like a boom. Mm-hmm. And then got back to the house and was just strolling around the yard and remembering the people and hearing and processing the whole thing. And I really had a moment of a choice to be sad. And then I was like, well, hang on. What if I just sit in all the love that people shared and gave, and grateful that she was here and helped me go through things and change my art like I've been wanting to do for the last 5 years. And then it completely changed from sadness to still like a weepy, but it was joy. And it was a real choice. And I just was like, oh, I'm glad I got that. Because then the whole day was just so different. Even just laying on the couch and staring off into space and processing and looking over and seeing people in my life that I love so much that showed up and seeing them loving each other. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I love that you said it's a choice, because it's always a choice. It's a choice every single day. It's a choice the minute you wake up in the morning, to choose like what kind of day are you willing to have? Because that's really what it's about. Yeah. It's about allowing. It's not about trying to make something happen, because it's already happening,
Yeah.
The day is already good. It's just whether or not you're going to be open and available to that good. Yeah. So it's about getting out of the way, which is getting all of our negativity out of the way, out of the negative thoughts. And that's what you did. You saw 2 roads out in front of you. Clearly. And this is how I see it on a daily basis. You always have 2 roads out in front of you. You have one road that is filled with rose petals, right? No obstacles, no challenges. It's a road of fulfillment. It's easy, it's graceful. Okay? Then you have the other road right next to it that you can choose. And it's a road filled with, it's got boulders and broken glass, and it's a road filled with obstacles and challenges. And that's a choice too. You always have those 2 roads out in front of you, and it's up to you to choose the road with the rose petals. You have that in front of you.
And
So-
all day long.
All day long, every day. And no matter what goes on, circumstances outside of you, you still have control over this. You still have the choice of which path you're going to choose. So in that moment, when you were reflecting, you know, you thought, here's the two roads, right? I can take the one that puts me down in the doldrums, that makes me feel crappy, you know, that lowers my vibration, and then I know what the day is going to feel like. I know how, you know. Or I can shift gears and I can go onto the path with the rose petals right now and relish the good and think, you know, have your your mind filled with thoughts of love and truth.
And then like simmer in that feeling.
Yeah.
Because the feeling, the vibration, that's what's nice. That's what's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. So you have the power. You have the power. You know, the circumstances don't have the power. You have the power, and you do get to choose every day, all day long, what your experience is going to be. So if you want to live a high vibrational life, you have to choose that. You have to choose that path with rose petals. It's always there. It's always there, no matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter if somebody's died in your life. I mean, no one would blame you for choosing the path of pain and suffering.
Sure.
Nobody would blame you. But the reality is you still have that other choice. You still have the path of, like Katie saying, reflecting on the good, reflecting on the love. That's also an option, and that's a really good option. Oh, Maddie has a lot to say about that right now. Which path is he choosing at the moment? Okay.
He's choosing to protect us.
He's choosing, yeah, okay. I can accept that.
Yeah.
Or there might be an edit. I don't know.
Maybe.
There might be an edit. We're just going to flow with it. But, and Gilly's here going, I think you should edit, honestly.
And Gilly, this is a time when we can
Do you want to
connect.
Do you want to see the audience?
Want to stay in?
No.
I always
No,
want-
I'd rather take Maddie's bed, is what he
I
said.
want to
So-
give Gilly some love, but I'm not allowed to when Maddie's around.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, Maddie's like a little possessive. So I'm really glad you told that story. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it is an exercise. It's a master class every day, you know.
Yeah.
And you showed self-mastery in that decision.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. And it is a muscle you have to, you know, constantly exercise, because it's easy to fall into the low vibrational frequency.
Well, it's like full forgetfulness, because it's not like I'm perfect and I can do it all the time. But I do
think you're
choose it.
perfect.
Thank you. I do choose it so often that I am able to catch it. But you know how sometimes you're reminded of something and you think, wow, how could I have forgotten that? It's just like the veil of forgetting.
Yeah. It is. This is an exercise in staying awake, you know,
Yeah.
and staying mindful. But the payoff is really big, you know.
And for me, if I stay up too late, have too many drinks, or just don't give myself enough break, if I'm out of balance with my schedule, my to-dos, my socializing, I have to take care of my body to keep myself vibing higher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do have a sensitive constitution. Turning out to be a good thing, but I'm a sensitive girl.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're an empath, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, do you have a good definition of empath that you want to share?
Well, when I was not mindful of what it was, so just growing up most of my life and through my 20s and 30s, people that I love or really connect with, or I'm listening to someone share a story, I can feel the feelings that they're talking about, and was also my way to bridge the gap and, you know, try to help if they're asking for my help and we're going through it and they're telling me the story, to the point where I could say, like, okay, wait, are they really tall? Do they wear a lot of orange? Do they limp?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like really get a sense of, and then I would be told, yeah, I would get confirmation, yes. And so I could really feel the journey that we were going through and say, okay, well, that's, you know, maybe that's somewhere that you can make a choice.
Yeah, and I think it feels compounded for an empath, and we're both empaths. You know, where you can take on the feelings easily of the world or other people, where you're sensitive and you can feel what's going on other levels that most, a lot of people are not connected with. And you can get accused of being too sensitive, like especially as children.
Oh, for sure.
You know, a lot of children that are accused of being too sensitive turn out to be empaths, which is a gift and a blessing, because it's great to be that connected. But if it also gets in the way of your everyday life, where, it puts you down in the pit.
Which it certainly did.
Right? If you don't have a certain level of control over it, and it's running you, then it becomes, an impediment versus a gift. So, but I do overall see it as a gift, And the other thing is you can get sick from taking on feelings from other people. I've literally gotten sick at times and gone, wait, this isn't mine.
This isn't mine.
Yeah, I remember my brother and I were talking one day, and he's on the other side of the country, and he said, oh my God, I've been having this pain in my wherever, and I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was a weird thing, like left rib or something kind of odd. And I had been feeling a pain in my left rib all week, right? And I had been telling my wife, like, I have this pain in my left rib. I have no idea. I didn't do anything. And then he tells me this. And I'm like, this is your pain. What am I doing with it, But the good news is once I made that connection that it wasn't my pain, it went away.
Did it go away, or did you, do a thing? Did you, say anything, or? Mine's
I always do have a process, but I'm sort of not always aware of it because it's so fast.
Yeah.
But I just basically say, oh, this is not mine. I don't need to have this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm letting that go right now. Plus, then your mind also shifts from what's wrong with me, what's going on, like all of the different thoughts that you have when you experience something physical. Your mind goes, what's going on? Is this something bad? You start, thinking
I rarely do that.
Oh, good.
I don't go there unless it sticks around.
Okay,
I let it, I'm just like, okay, release that, let it go. I kind of sort of open up, try to lengthen my skeletal system and see it blowing out. And then I'll drink water. And I don't give it too much attention unless it's just
Yeah. See, I was thinking it was mine, right?
Yeah.
And I had it for a week. So I was doing the inner work around, why do I have this pain? What's going on for me? How can I release that? So I was doing it, but it was kind of hanging on, right? And then he calls me and tells me he has this pain. And I'm like, oh my God, this isn't mine. That's what's going on. So I always assume it's me, right? And so anyway, then I was able to let it go very quickly, like that day. It was gone. But that's the kind of thing that happens to empaths. Like, it's not always your thing.
I pick up my mother's stuff constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were together yesterday, day before yesterday. And I just, she'd be talking and then boom, she'd be talking about her and I get pulses or I'm like, oh, I pick up all her stuff. Mm-hmm. We're very connected.
So
don't play Pictionary with us. We will win.
Oh my God.
Literally.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. We'll just look at each other and I'll be like, oh my God. And then she'll put the pen down. And St. Bernard.
We're going to get messages for people who want to play Pictionary with you, right?
Let's go.
We're going to get those messages.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
I love games. I used to hate games. Turns out I didn't hate games. That's a strong word. But yeah.
I dislike them strongly.
Yeah, but turns out I like them.
Okay, Mexican dominoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you tried it yet, or?
Yeah. Also called Mexican Train.
Mexican Train dominoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Firestar, who told me one day that she had learned this game, Mexican Train dominoes, and loved it, and was addicted, and wanted to teach us how to play. And she comes over, teaches us. We had the best time, and now I'm truly a Mexican Train addict, I guess you can call it. I love it, and I've taught my niece, I've taught other people, and everybody loves it. Everybody's hooked on it. So I don't know, we're not paid sponsors for Mexican Train's Dominoes, but I just wanted to share. It's such a joyful, fun game,
Absolutely.
And it's easy, and anyone can do it. Okay. Segue
Not
to
smart.
urinary tract infection. Okay, now,
Oh.
yes, I wanted to share with you. So I literally almost never get sick, and I'm not kidding. I just don't. Right?
Yeah.
And the last week or two, I've been experiencing something there.
Yeah.
And because I've never had one, I didn't know what it was, right? But what I watched my mind go to what's going on? Like, this is not me. So I'm sharing this with you as a process, as a way for you to, kind of get under a process of how to heal yourself, right? So the first thing, I have thoughts that work for me and I have thoughts that work against me, but I have to stay mindful, and then I fuel the ones that work for me. But I'll be completely transparent about it. I was like, what's this? Oh my God.
Yeah, when it's there, it's like, I pay attention.
Right. So I had kind of a spattering of thoughts of like, what is this? And not really making it mean much. And then other thoughts of going to doomsday, right? And back and forth. And then I was like, okay, what is this about? And I know enough about healing to know what it is. And urinary tract infections are generally what I call pissosity. So it's being in a state of pissosity. And, one of my friends who's also a spiritual practitioner said to me, are you pissed about anything? Right? And I immediately went, I don't think so. I don't feel connected to that, because I didn't really feel connected to it. Okay. I think I felt sad that I was going through something, but that was about all I could get at the time. But I trust that I know how to heal. So I was like, okay, Donna, what if you are pissed about something? What would that be? That was what I asked myself. Mm-hmm. Could it be possible that you are pissed? You're just maybe not in touch with it. Maybe you're, covering it up. Maybe you don't want to be pissed. Maybe you're uncomfortable with being pissed, because a lot of people are uncomfortable with anger. And so they don't allow their anger, they may direct it to themselves, but they don't allow it out. Yeah. And, honestly, my mother taught me. My mother is somebody who lets her anger out, right? When I was younger, she let her anger out, right? Yeah. In ways that probably weren't the most productive. But one thing I learned, and she's 91 now, okay? I always said, my mother's going to live a long life because she knows how to get her anger out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh. But there's also healthy ways to get your anger out. Yeah. There are unhealthy ways and there are healthy ways. There's ways where you take it out on other people, blame situations, events, or whatever, and just stay in a state of rage or whatever, or reaction. Or there's allowing it to come up, recognizing it. A way to do it is you envision a chair in front of you, an empty chair, and you put your anger in that chair, and you ask it to communicate to you, what is it here to teach you? What does it want you to know? Basically, every feeling just wants to be acknowledged and heard. And once you acknowledge it, once you hear it, once you allow it to have its moment, it will pass. It passes very quickly, in fact. When it doesn't pass, it's because we're avoiding it, neglecting it, pushing it down. Mm-hmm. That's when it'll hang on forever, right? Sure. And that's when it'll show up in the body. And that's what happened with me. So I was not even paying attention. I was totally disconnected from my anger. I'm just being honest. Yeah. Okay? So when I really started to sit with it and ask the questions, like, could you be pissed? I was like, okay, I could be pissed. Okay, what could you be pissed about, right? Then all of a sudden things started to come up. And I was like, I really am pissed. Like, I am so pissed right now. And I was basically throwing an inner tantrum without me knowing it. And my body was reflecting my pissosity. That's what got my attention. Yeah. So I started
the body talks to you.
It does. It's a teacher, and it informs you. It informs you when you're out of alignment. And so, I really started to work with what I was angry about. Now, this is a bigger story, but I think it's a very important one. What was happening was some really old stuff was getting triggered for me. Old, like childhood stuff. And I didn't even know it. That's what I mean. Like, I had some stories running from childhood that haven't really gotten triggered in a long time. So they're easy, they're kind of easy to bury. Because if you don't have a catalyst happening in your present life that brings it back up, you bury it. It's just there, right? So it came up. And I saw things I had never seen. Like I had never really, truly acknowledged. And so the urinary tract infection in this case was a giant, opportunity for me to heal some very old stuff that had been laying there latent, operating in my life without me knowing it, right? And just getting triggered every once in a while.
Super unhealthy.
And this is a time I'm really aware right now in the universe that this in particular is a powerful time of transformation for us to reveal and release old stuff that is in the way of the light. So when we talk about scaling the mountain and living a high vibration, let's say that's 100. Let's give it a number, okay?
Yeah.
So when you're on the mountaintop, you're at 100. You're filled with light and joy and wholeness. You know who you are. You know your divine perfection. You know your goodness. You know you're filled with unconditional love. You're from an endless supply of good, and that you are the light, and that nothing can come nigh your dwelling place, it says in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. When you're in that space, you're like Teflon. Mm-hmm. Anything could happen, anyone could say anything to you, and you're going to just be in the light. Mm-hmm. That's what the goal is. It's not to, by the way, avoid negativity, as many people think it is. I got to avoid this person. I got to avoid this person because they don't believe what I believe, or they're, caught in drama or whatever. I want to say for the record that sometimes on your scale to the mountaintop, as you're learning to allow the light and stay in the light, and you're learning how to stay in the light, sometimes the inclination is to stay away from negativity because you want to protect the light that you have, right? And you think you have to. You see that negativity as a threat to it. But that's not what we're here to do. Right. We're here to climb the mountain, stay in be in the 100, know who we are, and not avoid negativity. Yeah. Because we are the light. The light transmutes negativity. Okay? So if you're truly in the light and you're standing in the light and in the truth, you should not be that easily affected by other people's negativity. In fact, you should be in a state of compassion and connection and oneness and unconditional love, where if somebody comes into your field of awareness who's in a state of negativity or drama or whatever, that you hold the light for them. You hold the space for them. You are seeing through their behavior, through their where they are in consciousness at that moment in time. You're seeing their divine perfection. That's the goal. Yeah. Okay? It's not to avoid negativity. It's to transmute it. So you want to get so strong in your own light and so confident that you know how to stay in it, that you are not afraid of negativity. That you almost see it as an opportunity to be of service, Not that you seek it out, but that you, when it comes your way, you still stay in your happy place and in your zone. And to get to that place of truth, to get to that 100, that is when you scaling the mountain to the light. Mm-hmm. Okay? Oh, I want to share with you that while I was in this process of doing this healing work, I had such an epiphany. I had such what I call piercing the veil of illusion. Mm-hmm. I pierced this entire veil, okay, this world thing that we're in, the world of effect. I pierced it. And it wasn't just for a second. It wasn't just for a moment. It was for a while. And I was literally living, you want to say the other side, but it's not the other side. It is here. Yeah. It's here. It's just that we're blocking it. The light is so here. The good is so here. The love is so here. And what happened was I was sitting in meditation, and all of a sudden, in the middle of this urinary tract infection, and I sat in meditation because I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I wanted to heal it, and I was sincerely wanting to do that work. And I sat in meditation, and all of a sudden I noticed, while I had my eyes shut, that this giant smile came out of my face, and I couldn't stop it. Like, I wanted to say, do you ever feel like you can't smile big enough? Like,
oh, yeah.
This smile came out of me, and I could not wipe the smile off my face, right?
Yeah.
And I just allowed it, and I trusted it. I didn't get into my head to think about it. I just went with that. I went with the joy that was all of a sudden there, happening, right? And all of a sudden, all I could feel was gratitude, like this unbelievable gratitude, like I had never felt in my entire life. And everything was so clear to me, like so vivid, clear. And I wasn't high. I wasn't on drugs or anything, okay? This was what happening without drugs, okay? Without any kind of anything.
Yeah.
I was living in this state of complete awe and bliss and gratitude, and tears started to flow down my face. All I could do was feel with gratitude. That's all I could say about it, right?
Yeah.
And Robin was there, and we were away, and I was meditating. She was taking a nap, and when she woke up, I had to share with her because I couldn't contain it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to share this with her. And I was in such a heightened state of awareness and truth. And all I could say is, I don't want you to miss it. I don't want anyone to miss it. I want, like, we're missing it. We're missing it. If we spend 1 minute feeling in a low vibrational frequency because of the news, because what this is happening and that happening. And when I was in this state of awareness, I realized none of it mattered. None of that mattered. That this reality, this truth that I was feeling and living in that moment is that path with the rose petals.
Yeah.
It is that path that we have available to us every single day if we follow the path, if we allow the path, if we don't get lured to the other path, and we just surrender to that love, we will arrive in this state of awareness that is so pure and so true and so real, and that is what's real. That is what's real. And I'm trying to convey the high vibrational frequency that's available to us every day, every moment, no matter what your circumstances are. But it takes that practice, that choice that you made that day when your friend left. That is the choice you have to make every day. And I could have sat there and felt sorry for myself that I was going through this thing and feeling all the uncomfortability around it. But I got blessed in that moment with such clarity of sight, such clarity of insight. Oh my God, it was so
Beautiful.
powerful and so, remember I said there was something I wanted to share with you,
Yeah.
and you said, don't tell me.
Yeah, I said,
don't tell me right now.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, maybe that's something I'll share
Yeah.
with our audience. So I'm sharing it as best I can. It happened 1 week ago today.
It's almost like it's a place. And once you've been there, now you can just go back, give it space to, you know that it's there. And so,
It's a template.
yeah.
It's like a seed, it's like, it was planted in me, like, I feel like Spirit was saying to me, remember, Donna? Remember? This is what's real.
Yeah.
This is what's real, not this other stuff. Oh my God, I can't convey to you how little everything else mattered. Like,
Yeah.
all
and
the stories.
I think I've certainly felt those moments in time where, I don't know, it's like being right in the center and everything becomes clear and all my stories and judgments and fears just drop away. It's like a warm, in the light type of space. And I've experienced it at different points in my life. And once you experience it, as I'm sure audience members know, you can't forget that. And so when I'm not at that high of a space, I'm also aware of that too. And that used to pain me.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make yourself wrong.
It doesn't pain me, but I know that's when, I'm almost not allowed to get caught in the blame game or the woe is me, or like my girlfriends like to say, poor dear, when we're feeling wallowy. Oh, are you a poor dear? Are you poor deering?
I love that.
She's a poor deer right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So like
love
I
that.
know it, and I know what I'm doing because I know that space exists because I've been there, and there's nothing like it. It's pure. It is light.
The thing is, your free will gives you these choices, right? There's no judgment over whether you choose the path with the boulders and the broken glass. There really isn't. Because in either way, whichever path you choose, it's like your lemons are going to be made into lemonade. So you're either learning through insight, revelation, which is the path with the rose petals, or you're learning through what I call the 2x4 method, which is getting hit over the head with a 2x4, like learning through pain. And so you can choose either path. Either way, you're growing from glory to greater glory, meaning you're expanding in your consciousness and you're always getting better, no matter what you might think about it, no matter what other people might think about it, about you. You are always, no matter what your circumstances look like, you're always growing, you're expanding in consciousness, you're always getting better. So even if your behavior looks worse, even if you feel like you slid back, even if I hear people say to me, I thought I dealt with that already and now it's up again. That's not going backwards. That's forward motion still. It's just residue at the bottom of the bucket that needs to come up. That's all it is. You're just, fine tuning.
Or even like when that stuff happens to me, when it comes up now, also, from looking into that of like, why is that coming up again? Now I can go, oh, I already dealt with that. Thanks. And I let it, it's easier to let it go. Oh, I already dealt with this. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's great. So it's like a shadow of itself that appears. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
it's in the field.
Yeah. The power, the power we have is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's beyond what you can even imagine, And I say that because when we're feeling crappy, we tend to think that we don't have power over it, that we're just sort of, well, this happened, so, this circumstance is happening, it looks bad, and so we're justified, right, in feeling whatever we feel. And there really is no judgment. I want to say that. I know we're talking about living it up. That's the point of this whole podcast. But there is no judgment about which path you take. It's all good. Okay.
If we are one, I'm doing that. I've done that too in my life.
Yeah, we all have.
We're trying to just stay on the path. This helps. This reminds me, us doing these talks. I find it empowering to be like, okay, that's right. If you have to walk the walk, and it's a beautiful reminder to be mindful of my choices.
Yeah, and it comes down to, I always talk about the power of decision.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a decision and you're truly made a decision, you're going to have what you decided. You're going to have the experience you decided. You're going to create what you want to create when you use the power of decision. So we're not powerless. So if you have a moment or you're in a situation where you feel powerless, you feel like you're out of control or whatever, there's some things you can know in those moments, which is you have power, okay?
Yeah.
You can choose which path, how you're going to experience whatever your circumstances are, right? You can choose to go down the path of, well, this is hard, this sucks, this is bad, this shouldn't have happened, this is a mistake, this is wrong, this is painful, this is suffering, this is, that path. You have choice. Or you can choose, wait a minute, I have choice.
One little choice.
One little choice.
One little boop. Let me just boop. Go that way.
Yeah. Just choose the other path. Jump over on the other path now.
One choice.
It takes 1 second to make that choice. Okay? And you can say, you know what? I don't deserve to suffer. I don't deserve to feel crappy right now. That is not destined for you. Nothing that happens is made for you to suffer. That's never the point of your circumstances. Your circumstances are co-created by you through your matrix of beliefs. Okay? So whatever you're believing, then that's what outpictures. You have choice though. So when it happens, you can jump on the other path. You can say no, like you said, not today.
Not today.
Remember you said on one of the other podcasts that you had
In the morning.
Yeah.
The barrage.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
That's a choice. That's a decision. Now, that was a strong decision. Not today. Okay? Didn't say, well, maybe. You weren't waffling about it.
No.
You said, not today. That's a no, right? So you can say to your circumstances, you know what? They are what they are. But I am growing from glory to greater glory. I am choosing the light. I am choosing to feel good about me right now. I am choosing to allow myself to feel good because nobody wins when you don't.
No.
There's no payoff.
No.
You know? So,
I mean, there's been times when it's, especially when I was younger and I was still, I was an emotional kid. I was born serious, turning into the child. Really serious pain. And I remember at points starting to make these choices and just saying, I don't have to live like this. And I need a break from this pain. I need a break. And by the way, I don't know what to do. Can you throw me a rope? Like help. I need help. And so asking for help. And at times prior to that, I was afraid to ask for help because what if that help didn't show up and then I was really alone? Like that's part of that pathos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So asking for help for me, like sometimes I still forget to do it. It's like, I don't know what to do in this situation, but I'm feeling pain and I know there's a way out of this.
Amen.
Help me.
Well, that was a power. See, that's a belief that you have that actually works for you. I
does.
know there's a way out of this, a better way.
Yes.
A better way. And, I'm feeling like there's something I'm supposed to say here around, there are people on the planet right now who don't see a way out.
For sure.
They don't see a way out and they feel like there is no other way out other than to check out.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, and Katie's here to tell you, there is another way. And there is support. And, there is another way to view all of your circumstances. There's another way to view you. There's another way to view the world. And, the world is filled with all kinds of stuff. But that doesn't mean you have to go up and down like a roller coaster. Yeah. You have choice to stay in the light at all times. And the power that you have to stay in the light, the reason why that's so powerful is because then when you're walking in the light, you will be your most beneficial presence on the planet. So if you're feeling like powerless because there's stuff going on in other parts of the world that you don't feel like you have control over, your best weapon is to stay in the light. Yeah. Because when you stay in the light, you will transmute the negativity, at least in your corner of the world. And because we're all connected, it makes a difference.
It makes a difference. I believe it makes a difference.
So stay in the light. Don't go down into the doldrums or in the pits. That you can't serve in that place. Your healing power lies in you staying in the light. And know that the light is way, way, way more powerful than the dark. The light, one droplet of light will dissipate the darkness. Yeah. Okay? So you standing in the light is really important. And that's why we do this podcast, because we are, we're working on ourselves. We're not perfect, but we have tools and we use those tools on a regular basis to scale that mountain and stay on that mountain as long as possible, and be as consistent as possible with that. Yeah. And not only do we benefit, obviously our life gets more technicolor, like brighter and more beautiful and more good is it being experienced on a daily basis.
And the magic that happens, the serendipity, the timing, it's...
Yeah, life
I really
life.
know when the vibes are high and then they stay consistent and the people that come into my life, the phone call that I get, the timing, it's just... It feels like a miracle.
Well, right, and it feels like a miracle, but... it says love begets love, right?
Yeah.
Light begets light. So when you're in the light, you experience everything that's of the light.
Yeah.
And even if something dark walked in other words, like some negative situation appeared in your life, your light being so strong would dissipate it. You wouldn't be in the doldrums. You wouldn't go to the other path. You would choose to stay in the light.
And for me, at times, it's like, feeling that sort of darkness, and then I go over there. I'll leave. I'll pick up my dog and walk in a different direction. Or, just, I'm not even going to play with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
which I did when I was younger. I would test and, it'll be fine, or like, no. I have a hard no sometimes. I'm like, I'm gone, I'm out. So I'm not denying all negativity. Absolutely not. That's impossible. We're living in this world. And like you said earlier, it's an opportunity. And I feel that way, and I feel empowered by keeping my vibration in the midst of. But sometimes it's just a hard no.
Yeah, you're reminding me of a story I want to share. In 2016, I was working for Hillary, on the campaign. And part of what I was doing was, I was on all the social media platforms doing communications, right? And I came across this thread where somebody was trashing her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like really trashing her.
Oh, sure.
And I had experiences where I tried to engage with people and it just got ugly, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stay in my light.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't realize that I could stay in my light, and I didn't realize that I could, that the light was stronger than the dark. Okay? I didn't, but on this particular occasion, I remembered. And there was a guy who was on the thread.
I love that.
Yeah. And it changed me.
Yeah,
it really did wake me up a lot. There was a guy, went on his Facebook page and I could see he had pictures of it was horrible. It was horrifying, literally horrifying. Mm. I don't want to give the details, but it was bad. And I'm like, wow, okay. He's racist. He's homophobic. He's filled with hate, all of these things. And he was calling Hillary every name in the book, right? Yeah. So I started to engage with him. Now, like I said, if you want to avoid negativity, you don't engage in these conversations, right? If you're not strong in your light, don't engage in these conversations. Yeah. But I was strong in my light and I remembered, okay? So somehow we started talking and I told him, and I said, well, why do you hate Hillary? And he was, giving me these, explanations. And somehow I just got really vulnerable. He said, well, why do you like her? So I told him.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I told him that I had met her many times and what my experience was. And I could tell he was listening a little. I don't know, I could just feel him listening. Anyway, and then he started to get really angry and started to say horrible things again. And I decided just to be human with him. And I said to him, listen, I'm just curious, I just want to know, why don't you what happened? What happened? Why don't you like black people? Why don't you like, women? Why don't you, I just really kind of got into the conversation with him. He ended up revealing to me that he had been in the foster system.
Oh, wow.
He said, were your parents were they like this? And he said, I didn't have parents. Right? And then he started to tell me all about the foster system.
Is this going through writing?
He was, all in the mess. The thread was long, it just kept going. And he told me about the foster system and what he had endured and that nobody had adopted him and all this stuff. And I just said to him, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm so sorry that that you felt like nobody loved you. And I said, because I can tell that underneath all this stuff, you're really a good guy. You're a good person.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the whole tone of the thread changed. Okay? This horrible, if you could have seen what was on his Facebook page.
Dark.
Oh, the worst, right? And the things he was saying. You would have run for the hills. Anyone would have run for the hills.
Yeah.
And but something just kept me in that conversation. In the end, whole tone changed. He was then polite and respectful to me because he was calling me names in the beginning too. And then at the end, he goes, "I'm going to look into reading more about Hillary." That's what he said. I was like,
huge.
I mean, this was a white supremacist.
Yeah.
Who was filled with hate and anger and rage and blame, who hated the world, was blaming other people for his pain.
Oh, yeah.
And by the end of the conversation, because I didn't get lured into it, and because I chose to see him as whole, perfect, and complete, as a child of God, and I stayed in there and I met him where he was, there was a major transformation in that guy. And then we stayed in touch. He actually messaged me a few times and all this stuff. And it was always nice. That happened, after that happened all the time. I didn't avoid...
You learned through that how powerful it was.
Wow.
That's the thing, it's experiential. You had that deep experience.
Yeah.
And you can't forget that.
No, no matter how many things they say about you, no matter what the names are they call you, you just allow it to burn off in like a cauldron. I picture a cauldron of fire right in front of me, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever they say goes into the cauldron. It just burns off. It doesn't touch me because it's not about me.
I love that.
It's not about me. I'm not going to make it about me. I'm not going to go, oh, he called me this, that, and everything. Who cares? That's about where he is.
Yeah.
That's about the pain he's feeling, that he's trying to get rid of by putting it on me. He's trying to point it at me, to get rid of some of it or whatever. Maybe it's a call for,
that's the life 101 of it, mm-hmm. right? When you're blaming, pointing, putting, blaming, nobody's doing anything to you.
Yeah. A Course in Miracles says everything is either an act of love or a call for love. And when you can remember that in the moment, no matter, you could have a close friend who all of a sudden turns on you and, starts saying this and that about you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't, maybe it is something that you can take from it and learn and grow with, but you still don't have to make yourself wrong or bad or go into the doldrums. You can say, okay, you can choose the path with the rose petals. You can say, okay, this is happening. You don't have to resist anything. Resistance is painful.
Painful.
All resistance is painful. So just allow. Okay? Whatever's happening, allow. Allow my dog to bark his head off in the other room. We allowed it, right?
Yeah.
We don't resist, we just allow, we trust. And now look at him, he's like a little angel just sitting. I wish you could see what we're seeing right now. Oh my God. Anyway, the point is you always have that path. So if somebody very close to you, turns on you, then you just allow whatever they're saying to burn into the cauldron in front of you, burn off. It's not about you. Don't let it touch you. Don't take it on. Don't make it mean something.
It can be hard.
Don't oh, I'm hurt now. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Be the light. Stand in the light. Know that this person is it's a call for love. Right?
It is a call for love.
So you can say to them, I'm so sorry. Even if you didn't feel like you did anything wrong. What's wrong with saying you're sorry? I don't find any problem with that. Say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's so hard to see you in this much pain.
Yeah.
What do you need from me?
Mm.
Listen, then listen. Okay? Even if they're ugly communicators, you know what I call it, like where they're messy communicators and they're blaming. It's okay. It's okay. We've all been there. We've all been messy communicators.
Sure.
Okay? We're all learning. We're all growing. Be the light. Choose the light. Choose the rose petals. Don't go there. Don't jump on the path with the broken glass and the boulders. You don't have to. You have choice. Stay in the light. Be the place of love. Show them unconditional love because love heals everything. It really does. This guy was a white supremacist. When I showed him a little love, the good came out in him. And it was right there. It wasn't that hard, honestly.
Yeah.
But he was putting all these pictures and images up on Facebook to protect himself. Then he looked evil. On every level. And, but I know that this is how, how we can heal ourselves and heal other people, and how we really can have an impact on the world, and how one person can make a difference. It's just these little choices every day. Don't get lured in by other people's hate.
Well, practice that, what you're talking about, because as you're saying it, like, I've experienced that where it's a good day. Everything has come together and having my back. I feel supported. I feel connected. And I experience that. Like coming at, let's say I'm at the Rite Aid and I've got someone sort of nastiness coming at me. I don't know what's going on with them, but I'm like, this cannot hurt me. And I'm also going to give you a little love right now.
Amen.
And you see it change in front of you. So it's like, practice it.
Yes. Play with it.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating, and you realize,
and it's
oh my
empowering.
God, this is powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah, and then you don't feel helpless, and you don't feel disempowered, and you don't feel like, oh, the world's a mess and I can't do anything about it. You actually can in your corner of the world and with the people in your life. You can stay in the light. You can choose the light, and it's so powerful when you do.
What if everybody did? What if everybody? It just started.
And that's why we're doing this program.
And then we took the scales.
That's it. And this is about tools so you know how.
Yeah.
And that you're not expected. Look, you are going to get onto the mountain, and then you're going to slide back down a little bit, okay? And you're going to go, oh, right?
Sure.
But then you have choice again. Then the skill set is how to get back on the mountain when you slide back down.
Yeah.
How do I say this? Don't allow yourself to suffer. Don't allow yourself to stay in pain unnecessarily. You don't deserve it. You deserve to be in the light. You're here to be in the light. You're here to experience the amazing, amazing world that we live in. No matter what you think, this place is a blessing. And it's not because I'm lucky, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not just lucky, okay? I have been in the darkness. I have dealt with darkness in my own life. But I have also learned that I was at choice, and that I could choose, through my consciousns, I could choose which path. I could choose my reactions and my responses. I'm not perfect at it at all. My wife will tell you that. If you want proof of that, I will have her come in and tell you. So, I can get into reactionary mode. I can do all of that stuff, but I don't stay there long. I catch myself quickly. And I scale that mountain as fast as I can.
Yeah.
I use the tools, which is just, letting go of the way you're thinking, letting go of being right, letting go of, your ideas that this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, this is bad. You know what? It's happening. It is what it is. Now respond. The definition of responsibility is the ability to respond in accordance to the truth, with a capital T.
Ooh.
Okay? So responsibility is the ability to respond in accordance to the truth, with a capital T. So instead of reacting, this is bad, this shouldn't be happening, like you're getting punched in the stomach all the time, it's okay. You can react, but just catch yourself and go, oh, there's me reacting. Oh, I don't need to do that. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, what is the truth about this? This is happening, so this is intent, this is supposed to be happening. Don't resist. Now, choose the light. Choose another way to say, this is, no matter what it looks like, no matter what circumstances are happening, this is for me. This is for me, because the universe is always, always, always for you, no matter what you think about it. It may not be the way you want it to look. It may not be going down the way you think it should be going down. Or maybe something's happening you think it shouldn't be happening. I'm here to tell you it is for you. So get with that thought. That thought will immediately put you on the rose petal path. Okay, this is for me. I don't have to understand it all right now. I don't have to know how it's even for me. I just have to trust that it is. So that is a key element, to getting out of the low vibrational field and entering into the higher vibrational fields. It's knowing that everything is for you. It's not meant as a curse or a suffering, that it's been co-created through your matrix of your beliefs. And I'm not saying that to blame you or be hard on you, but take responsibility.
Because I wonder if we don't somehow, these patterns, they circle around and they give you an opportunity to do it differently, and then you don't do it differently, and the opportunity comes back, and maybe it gets a little deeper, and then it comes back, and then you get a little bit more mad, and you're just, and then it does compound because it's energy and it's drawing it in.
Yeah. And then we say, I don't want this anymore.
Why does this happen to me? Why is this my journey?
Right.
It's because we get stuck
or feeling
in these
victimhood.
loops.
You're feeling victim-y.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like, I can't have what I want, or, you know, this is happening again. See? You know, I don't just, you know, whatever it is.
It feeds the narrative.
All of that
will happen. It'll continue.
And it's going to come up until you address it and go, wait a minute, I've been buying into a lie. Yeah. I've been repeating this story over and over and over again, and it's playing out in my life. And it's not there to make you suffer. It's there to wake you up. It's there to get you to make a different choice, to think differently, to let go of those old patterns of thinking and old beliefs that cause you low vibrational feelings in the world, and then cause you to have experiences, you know, like attracts like, that brings you more pain. So realize if you're in pain that you have choice. You can let go of all the ways, all the thinking that has brought you down. Here's a rule of thumb. If you have a thought that brings you down, it's a lie. It may be your truth with a small t, but it's not the truth with a capital T. It's not the truth in the universe. So you don't have to hold on to it. Let go of every single thought, idea, belief you have that brings you down. Let it go. Write it out on a piece of paper if you have to. Take a look at it. I always tell my clients, write it down and then label the paper. These are the lies that I've believed. These are the lies that I've been fueling my whole life. These are the lies I've used as excuses.
Burn it.
To feel crap.
Write it down, burn it up.
Write it down. All of it doesn't matter. None of it is the truth. Who you are, that is awesome. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That you are perfect. You are whole. You are complete. You are made of the light. You are the light. Choose the light. Stay in the light. Do whatever you have to do to scale that mountain. Get to the 100. Allow it. Allow yourself to dwell and live in the light, because that is magnificent. And you too will be crying tears of gratitude for what really is, what the truth of your life is. The stories, they're not the truth. They're just things passing through your awareness. They're temporary. They're not who you are. And you can bring heaven to earth right now by choosing the path with the rose petals and not the boulders and the broken glass. And I just want to thank you all for watching. I so appreciate all the people that have sent us messages and have thanked us for doing this podcast. And we're so grateful you're watching. Keep watching. Share it with your friends. And we are here, to make a difference, to really show you another way, so that you can live your highest vibrational life, your best life, and not waste this. Because this place is magnificent. Don't waste a minute feeling crappy. It doesn't serve. Honest to God, it doesn't. Live your best life. You have time. I don't care if you're 90. You have time. If you catch what we're saying right now and you scale that mountain to the 100 and you live that, that's a template that will go with you forever. Okay? And into the next vibration, into the next experience.
Absolutely.
So if you have any questions or you want, you just want to comment or, feel free to do it here on this post. But you can also reach out to me in my office. My number is 818-904-6840. It'll be on the screen. You'll see it. My email, you can send me emails, questions, whatever, to youwillheal@aol.com. Stop laughing. I know what you have to say about AOL, but it's my best friend.
I love when someone has
God
an
in AOL.
or a Yahoo. I'm like, yes.
Yes. And my website, www.youwillheal.blogspot.com. Check it out. There's lots of stuff on there. I've written a zillion blogs over the years, and it's all there to help you raise your own vibration and live your best life. And until the next time, we wish you the best, the high vibrational life that you truly deserve. Be well.